Hello everyone and welcome to Punter's Intelligence. It's great to have your company once more. We'll get into how to download that app in 2 ticks. It is very important, but Nick Berney, hello to you. How was your week on the punt, my
Hello
friend?
to you, Betty, and everyone watching on in. Week on the punt was okay. Had a bit of a win in the last there with King of Rosehill. My old mate Kerguelen held so much of the market, so I was hoping to take him on. So got something out of the day on the track. They did want to race off the fence, but that's typical Rosehill Rail True. You wanted to be lane 6 to 11 in that final 200 metres, but more importantly, where have you been?
I've been everywhere. I've been absolutely everywhere. So from when I last saw you, we went Sydney, Canberra, Wagga, Hungary for a footy reunion, which was really good.
Yeah, how was that?
Hungary, Wagga, good, thank you. Can't remember much, but Hungary back to Wagga up to Grafton.
Yeah,
brilliant to be up there. Yep. The team up there do such a good job. Gaz and John looked after me, which was lovely, and we got to see the Ramornie in the Cup. That was my first time on track. From there to Braidwood for a wedding. Then back to Wagga, then back to Sydney. So I think 3,500 Ks in 8 days, and the back just need to do a little bit of stretch.
Chiropractor.
Hey, I'm surprised I didn't drive past this lady on the way, actually, because we need to get to Ali Mosley. There is some big news, and it's not really Punter's Intelligence style to drop the news break, but I guess we will today because Jimmy Star has been announced as the TAB slot representative for the TAB Everest this year. It's brilliant. Kieran Maher won it last year with Bella Nipotina. They're doubling down with Jimmy Star this year. Ali, over to you.
Thanks, Ben. I'm just here with my new mate, Jimmy Star, who's secured himself a slot in this year's TAB Everest. We're back here at Bob's Farm, where we came almost this time last year to visit Bella Nipotina. So Jimmy Star has been back in work here now for 8 weeks. He works at the beach. He went for a canter there this morning and then had a little play in the water as well. But he's a really happy horse. He's only little, small but mighty though. He's got a big stride on him. So he's been back in work for 8 weeks at the moment there, just getting his fitness up. We see him trial in 2 weeks' time at Gosford, and we saw what he was able to do last preparation. He was a first-up winner of the Group 1 Oakley Plate. He ran a huge 4th in the TJ, and then he won over 1,400 in the all-age. They elected to send him out. I know, you're getting impatient. They elected to send him out to the paddock, so he was prepped up and ready to come back for an Everest, and he's just an absolute dude. He's in really nice order. Can't wait to see what he can do for us this year for our TAB slot.
Thanks, Ali. Huge news, fantastic news from TAB's end, and I'm sure for this fella as well, because we've been lucky enough, Nick Berney, to be joined by the trainer of Jimmy Star, and that is, of course, Kieran Maher. Kieran, congratulations. It's an achievement just to have a horse in a slot in the race. It's nice and early, and it must be a relief from your end.
Yeah, it is a relief. It's, as we all know, it's tough enough to get into the race, let alone be competitive. So to get Jimmy locked away nice and early, it's makes the job a whole lot easier, and we can concentrate on the race and having him right on the day.
It seems to be a blossoming relationship, you with TAB. So last year with Bella Nipotina, and without dobbing TAB in, the record prior to that in the TAB slot had been a little bit lacklustre, and you were able to turn that around, and it's nice to be able to build on that now and pair up for a second year.
Yeah, exactly right. Bella did it from the front, and Jimmy probably does it from midfield or worse, but hopefully we can get the same result. It was fantastic that we could. TAB is just such a big supporter of racing in general, so it was fantastic, and really looking forward to this year. Jimmy the longer he goes through his prep and each preparation he comes back in, he probably looks a little bit more like Bella every time you see him. He gets a bit bigger and a bit stronger, and he certainly has improved again, I feel.
Kieran, on his preparation, he was so dynamic, fresh there, winning the Oakley Plate there last campaign, and then 4th up, he won the All-Age Stakes. Do you have an early plan of where you want to get to him in the Everest? Would it be first up or deeper into a campaign?
He was dynamic in the Oakley Plate. He was probably equally as dynamic in the TJ. I think he ran home in faster sectionals, but he just wasn't. They mightn't have gone quite as quick early, which he needs that early pace. So the plan will be to go to the shorts over 1,100, given his success in the Oakley Plate. and then a month into the Everest with a trial in between, sort of at that 2 week mark. So we'll have a bit of freshness, but you also need a bit of it's a hard run, 6 furlongs, so you need to be pretty right to go.
You touched on it there, just on the fresh side of things. Regardless of whether he's fresh or deep into a prep, he's not going to show that early positional speed, is he? So in a race that, I know it's only early, we've only got the 4 slots filled at this stage, but it doesn't look as though we've got a stack of on-pace runners. You're really going to need them to, as they have in the past, overcook things a touch. If they do, no one really closes better than this guy, do they?
No, that's right, and there's no doubt he's going to need that tempo. But like you said, there's only 4 spots locked in at the moment, and no doubt there'll be a few more come out of the woodwork, and hopefully a few speedy ones to take on Ka Ying. But like I touched on before, he's improving each prep. It was he ran in 4 Group 1s last prep, and was closed as hard in each of them, winning 2. And I think he'll improve again. He certainly has physically.
One last one on Ka Ying Rising. You mentioned that horse, very short price favourite already for the Everest. Do you believe that, circumstances permitting, Jimmy is good enough to beat Ka Ying Rising on his day?
Oh, definitely. I'm a horse trainer with a supreme optimist. So Ka Ying's obviously very good and has had a stellar season. So he'll obviously be very hard to beat. He's very dominant in whatever he runs in. But like I said, Jimmy's improving, and we can get a few to take him on early. We should be storming home pretty hard.
Great news, and great to have you on board. I know Tab's absolutely ecstatic to have this horse locked in nice and early, and let's hope you can go back to back, mate. Good work.
Cheers guys, thank you.
Yeah, the champ Kieran Maher, can't wait to work with him over the course of the next few weeks and months as we steam into the Everest. We have so much to get through. Don't forget to download the app via the App Store and Google Play. We'll rip into a couple of races there at Rosehill, starting off with the 5th and a close look at Yoshinobu. So this was in a 1200 metre event. Why did this one catch your eye?
The ultimate gear change, I think, Benny, for Yoshinobu. Let's talk about Tom Sherry, though, first. He rode a treble this day, and I went back and had a look at his stats. He's beating market expectation on the season, the last 12 months. Over the past 100 rides, he's ridden 22 winners. So he's just flying. He's a jockey that you're happy to follow. And they went at a good even speed there, so he's back in the OTI colours now under new ownership. And he just had to stay patient here. He had to wait for the gap. He really trusted the horse as acceleration. And when it did come, that was a very strong turn of foot there, that 10.88. So he did that, and then he covered that 11.22 there late. But it's all about the last bound and what he did through the line that I really liked, because it's a horse that always gave me the indication he would get over more ground. So Iron Man was good. He was rock hard fit, where Yoshinobu was only first up there. So good effort there. On the favourite, though, Spywire, he raced to me like he was a little bit sore in his action. So interesting to see what comes out of that. But when we have a look at the race shape, but also the quality of this race, so I just want to quickly highlight race 6, because we'll have a look at that race next against the 38 versus the 36.6. So about 9 lengths quicker there. And then for that overall time, the 70.6 was about 5.5 lengths quicker than the 2-year-old handicap, and also about 6.5 lengths quicker than the benchmark 78. So it was a very good quality race. There was a nice margin to third. So happy to bonus up all the runners in that race. And looking at the final 600 metres, 200 metres I should say, splits that 11.21 and that 11.15. So going back to the top, he's always been a horse that promised ability, but he wasn't doing it on the track. But now he's had that gelding operation. I think he can go right on with it. And 1,400 metres now looks no issue whatsoever.
Okay, sounds as though this next race was a bit of a walkathon.
Yes.
We'll break that down. Let's have a look at Tuileries, who ran 4th on this occasion, and a few of them, on the evidence you've just showed us, Nick, they really struggled to get into the race with every reason.
Barriers win races, and especially when you're first up, you've got a long preparation ahead. They decided to just jump and snag there from the wide jaw, and look, he just had way too much to do. We saw in that graphic all the way from that jaw, goes back to near last there in that 3 wide trail. So did get a trail leading into it, but doing the form Wednesday, Thursday night, most putters would have been taking the short price. They just thought the class she'd be able to overcome it, but she just had too much to do, as I said, even getting to that superior ground because they just went at such a slow speed. So Usapin, who we highlighted a couple of weeks ago, I didn't have him on top, but I went the short price favourite, but he showed a nice turn of foot. He got a bit of clear air this day, but have a look at this 10.67. That's a very sharp 400 to 200 metre split on a soft 5 surface, and then she still wants to go 11.03 all the way through to the line. So she's only had the 5 career starts. I really, really like her as a horse. She's clearly going to only improve from that. You can follow her up in distance, but if she draws well, we saw last campaign, she can settle a lot closer. So she's definitely one to watch, and that final 600 metres is the clear fastest there in the race, that 32.99, and then flicking over to the fastest last 200 metre splits across the whole entire meeting. There she is at the top, so 11.03. So, Benny, I think you said it one day, not always the best horse wins.
No.
It's the race shape and more other factors like that, and that was certainly what happened on there on Saturday.
Yeah, right horse, wrong race.
Yep.
Let's head to a break. When we get back, we've got the Saturday Salute and the Hidden Gem as well.
Robusto moved up to eyeball Accredited. Nothing between the pair. Robusto trying to beat off Accredited. It's Robusto ahead in front to Accredited. Robusto push right out. I think it just won. Robusto a short half head to Accredited.
He's had to carry the weight. Obviously, he's earned that weight. But we got through there and turned out to be somewhat of a dogfight. And I had in the back of my mind all day when Timmy Clark won the Ingham aboard this horse, the fight that he showed once in a battle. So I was relying on that. But thank God we got him to win.
Now, I know we're out of carnival time, but how special is it just to have all these owners around from these Derby syndications?
Oh, it's fantastic, isn't it? They create some atmosphere, right? But no, we great support by Derby thoroughbreds and Derby syndications, and as you can see there, as you mentioned, the turnout's great. So long may that last.
Glad you could get the job done. Well done.
Thank you.
Yes, Robusto taking out the Winter Challenge. Well done to Josh Parr and the entire team. Derby flying, and so too the stable. But what a fantastic pickup Robusto's been.
Yeah, and he should have won there last start as well, so it was good to get a little bit of redemption for Robusto, but good ride. I think everyone mapped him to either find the box seat or that 1-1, and he put them away with a bit of style.
So you think there might be another win in store?
Yeah, I do. It's interesting, their campaign. So they're possibly looking now to missile stakes in between to get to the Wink Stakes and then third up into an Epsom. So he obviously was an Ingham winner there in that last year now. It's been some time already in July now, so just remind myself, Benny. But here we go. Accredited led up at that good even speed, and it was a great duel. So Accredited always had a bit of a query over the 1,500 metres, but clearly just needs that drying ground. And then Robusto, when he just pushed out here, Josh Parr, the gap did come for him, and he put the race away with some nice acceleration. So that's the key there. He runs the fastest 400 to 200 in the 11.13, and there's another runner I just want you to keep your eye on there in Saltcoat. So only had the 53 kilos, but he's just screaming to me third up, 18 on 2,000 metres. But Robusto, a really good effort, so he just keeps maintaining that speed to the line, and Accredited very brave in defeat. So the races itself, though, it rated really good against the day, so for the feature race. So we have a look at the 30.83 against the 31.14, but then the overall pace rating, that 54.65, so about 9 lengths quicker, and then also that overall time was 10 lengths quicker. So that's quite significant there. Robusto, that 34.23, sitting up on top of that speed, but I just can't get away from this horse.
No.
He just, I said it before, I can just smell it, third up, ready to go. And then 11.44 was the race second fastest in Skylab. Although visually looked only plain or okay, it was a nice return there by Skylab over an unsuitable trip, 11.37.
Okay, so that was the Winter Challenge. Now let's have a look at the Schweppes Sprint as we highlight our hidden gem for another week. Yeah, over the past handful of starts and the past couple of preparations, Disney has really elevated itself to become a pretty handy horse, maybe even better than that. Tell me what you're expecting through the rest of the prep.
Yeah, I don't know how hidden you're going to say this is, Ben, but I thought it was a nice return by Disneck, and I am expecting big things from this horse, especially a bit like Chuli's, that Rosehill 1100 or 1200 metres, when you're drawn wide, it's always tough to do, even regardless of race shape. So all the way over here, they had to snag from that wide draw, being first up, and he is much more that 1300 metre type, like what we saw last preparation, especially when getting out to Randwick. That's where he does produce his best. So he's just way too far back. Look at him all the way here. But you start to have a look at some of the splits he reels off. So South of India, winner that good even speed. You have Romeo's Choice, the eventual winner, just cut up the inside. Storm the Ramparts was ever so brave again there in defeat. And also thought Corniche hit the line well enough to be first up. But have a look at that split. 32.57, almost half a second faster than the race's next best. But the 10.86 into a 10.66, he's flying there, but just got too far back, and that 11.05. So even getting into the best ground, he's just had way too much to do over the 1100 metres. And visually, I thought he was great. Even through the line, as I said before, Randwick 1200 metres, second up, look out. But Romeo's Choice, he was another one. I thought, could he go from the heavy track to a drying track? And he proved that he certainly can do that. He's clearly in career best form. Corniche, off a long break, was a great return, that 11.22. And then Disneck, clearly the race fastest there. As I said before, 10.86, 10.66. That just really grabs me right there, those two big splits. And then flicking over to the fastest last 600s of the meeting, that 32.57 is clearly the race best, meeting's best. So, yep, great return and good to see. His trials were okay. And I was just want to see if he was come back the same horse, but he clearly has.
So he's jumped as well as anything, drifted back. The only thing I thought, there was a bit of criticism that they could have been a little bit closer to the second, third last horse. Maybe one off and got that extra 2 lengths there. But I honestly don't think Disneck was able to make up that ground at that stage of the race.
I agree. And it's 1100 metres Rosehill. It's a completely different beast to when he goes to Randwick, what he has done in the past and been at his best. And he's a horse that improves deeper into a prep.
At least he's shown. He's returned every bit as good as last preparation, if not better. So let's have a look in the next couple of starts. We'll head off to a break. When we get back, we're going to try and find you a Wednesday winner. And by we, I mean Nick. That's on the other side. Welcome back to Punter's Intelligence. It's that time of the week where we try and find your Wednesday winner, and we are going to be racing on rain-affected ground in the soft range at time of record there for Canterbury. Let's have a look at the market for race number 3, Shalar Gold, $3.50 favourite from Bev's 9, Killanova, Malcoop. We've got Marquisa there at $7 and $11 or more the rest. Who have you got your eye on, Nicholas?
Shalar Gold. So a bit of a nice market here, Benny, to bet into, but I'm happy to take that $3.50. You're on a soft 6, as you said, so I think we might get improvement, but there's a little bit of clouds, so we'll just see what happens there tomorrow. But I don't think either track condition, I'm happy to be with Shalar Gold. And this was the win that he went out prior to spelling last campaign. So this was a career peak performance, and he led it at moderate speed this day, but the screws really got turned on him at about the 400 metres when they upped the tempo. And I just liked how he responded to that. So he has that quality of leading with natural pace, and then he can accelerate it off it. So he runs the race's quickest 400 to 200 metre split here, and then I just liked how he kept maintaining it through to the line, that 10.85. And look, Josh is pretty easy on him here. Lady pricks the ears, he's still figuring it all out, so I think he can come back better as well. Nice margin to 4th. The race rated very, very well against the day, so all he has to do is repeat that first up off the back of 2 really nice trials, and he actually beat King of Russo in that latest trial. So that 63.19 against the 63.73 was about 3.5 lengths faster. And then looking at that last 600 metre split there as well, that 33.88 was the second fastest of the race. So I think they can go straight to the front, take a lot of catching. He just fits that Canterbury profile that I really like. So happy to follow him into Canterbury tomorrow.
All right, you've been venturing around. We talked about my travel. You've been to the provincials as well over the course of the past week. Horses to follow. Where did you spot them? I've
only gone to the city though on Saturday there, Benny, and I've got a couple that I think we can find some winners. Probably, who am I going to pick out of this bunch? I'm going to go Saltcoats.
As the pick of the lot?
Yeah, you were nodding your head as well. Why not? Third up, ready to peak there over that 1,800 metres or 2,000. But I thought Denman Star is in career best form. Great win there first up at Canterbury. And then Harry's bar, they just went so slow up in front. So he hit the line very well. Good late splits there. Sister Day, I thought, was great with the pace and bias against her. Yoshinobu, the gelding operation has clearly been the key. He can only go on with it now. Churis, she just had way too much to do. Don't drop off her. And Disneck, follow over 1,200 metres at Randwick, would be the best setup for him.
Yep. I think Disneck's already in the black book, but we might be adding salt coats.
Yeah.
On Thursday at 7 p.m. Where are we seeing you this week?
I'll be formal on Thursday, formal on Friday, and then I'm down at Kembla on Saturday. So looking forward to that.
Love it. Lucky. Anyone at Kembla, make sure you go and say hello to Nick. We'll catch you guys next time. Don't forget to download the app via the App Store and Google Play, and we'll see you next time on Punter's Intel.